Hi everyone, Senior Scientist here, and we're talking Bitcoin Cash and Wyckoff accumulation. Now I apologize, kind of lost my voice the other day. It's just starting to come back, so if it sounds a little groggy, like a frog is stuck in it, well, there might be, but sounds like it's going to be coming out soon. So anyway, wanted to bring you to Wyckoff, all right, and to take a look at this real quickly here because we've got some things to identify. When we have a big sell-off and we see Wyckoff accumulation, we first get this preliminary support. All right, so just remember that. Number one, preliminary support. And then you get a selling climax, which is a bottoming out after the major sell-off. And then you get this from there, pardon me, you get this spike in price again, and that's called the automatic rally, okay? Then after the automatic rally, now the peaks and the dips kind of vary. So sometimes, so when we see the we get like a secondary test here, and then we go into phase B, and phase B then begins right after that secondary test, and we get this another dip here, a secondary test in phase B. Sometimes that's below the secondary test in phase A. Sometimes it's below the selling climax, sometimes it's above. So point is to identify, okay, what's going on here, and are we in Wyckoff accumulation? So you can identify these things: preliminary support, automatic rally, selling climax. Sorry if that was loud. I know that having sounds play through here on a screen record can be really loud. Sorry for that. A secondary test in B. Okay, and then it kind of like, and again, this can vary in length. It will work its way through this trading region that is bounded by the two different tops, and then two different bottoms. So whether that's the selling climax, secondary test, and there's a difference between the two, is what I'm trying to say. But sometimes this is, sometimes this first dip is lower and the second dip is higher. Again, it'd be the difference between the two would be your bottom of your trading region. All right, the point is, because then you kind of work your way through this trading region. Then you come up and you have this creek, and this creek can be a nightmare for people, and that's where people get really, really bearish, because it just seems like an ongoing forever downtrend. All right, and you would think that unless you understood that you were in a creek of Wyckoff accumulation, it doesn't always become apparent, until you're at that point. But in a lot of ways, it would resemble, the shape of it would kind of resemble where you would be working your way through the trading region, then you come up and you would have kind of this downward like that, okay? So you'd have a peak, and another major sell-off. And down here, you'd just be working your way through, and then there'd be like, oh, some hopium, and then it would, everyone would turn bearish again, and you would have a few days coming down into what's the final leg, and that's where people would be most bearish, most frightful, and thinking this thing's done for, it's going to collapse, and that's where they would sell. And that's where smart money, they're buying up all throughout here, right? They're taking up all the supply, they're testing things, and then when they get down here, the people who sell, it's like handing them and writing, let's just say BlackRock, you're just writing them a check. Just write them a check for your money, because they know they're going to come up, and what they'll do then is come up and go to the top of this trading region again, and that area there is called an SOS, or a sign of support, okay? And then you would have a little bit of a pullback there, just real brief, boom, come up, now you're above this trading region, okay? Test the top of that trading region again here where your sign of support was. So I'll come back down to the sign of support, so you'll get a jump, sign of support, and that would be a pretty significant jump there from the spring. And again, it's real short, boom, 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 and then you're off to the races, okay? And I am telling you that is exactly what I see with Bitcoin Cash. Let's go to Bitcoin Cash. All right, so we look at this chart, and we look at a lot of the charts, a lot of the crypto charts, and it's easy to identify. Some not as easy in my opinion, but bottom line is we've got this coming down, and see this little notch here? Oh, let me zoom in so I can write. This little notch here would be your preliminary support, okay? This notch here would be your selling climax, the dip. This peak here, your automatic rally, okay? Now you have maybe a couple of them, and they can do more than one test, by the way. That's the other thing. But we got a secondary test, okay? Completing phase A. Now we get into phase B, and we come up, and we got a secondary test in phase B. Now we're working our way through the trading region, okay? Bounded by remember we said we got bounded by the top of that peak and the top of that peak, all right? And then we've got a difference here in these lows, okay? So anyway, you can have, again, multiple tests. So this is a secondary test in phase B. This may be another secondary test in phase B, but the bottom line is it's working its way through the trading region. All right. So then we come up, a little bit hopium, but we got our stupid creek. Okay, comes up. Now we got this massive sell-off. So where would this be? Where would that be? If this is our creek, and it comes up like that, and does this, it comes down. What would this point be right there? And where's all the bearish news right now? Okay, let's look at it again. Let's see here. Come on. Thing's not moving. Here. There we go. Here's our creek. Trading region, come up. Creek, come up. And so we're somewhere in there right now. Is that where we want to sell? Now, it could come a little bit lower, right? That's, kind of what I'm watching too. It doesn't always. So again, those levels, they vary greatly. So it's not something I can even pinpoint or track. I'm looking at this, and yes, it does seem to be, there's this other line here, this red line coming through, and it's holding as support right now. So that might be the bottom of the spring right there. If not, I have marked another line that it might come down to, and that's around 399. 399-ish, right about there. Okay, and it's certainly possible it could come down there, right? And that would take out any stops below that low. But I don't think that would happen. It could. It certainly could, okay? But here's why I don't think. Just because what's happening right now with this drop in price, and why I think that's it. It may go lower, okay? It may go lower, and that's totally fine. But notice the bearish divergence, or bullish divergence that it's creating, right? So we've got this low here, right? And it's lower in the RSI, okay? We got this low here, and it's higher in the RSI. Now, it could be doing something like this. It could be coming down, up, and down, and then go, okay? And that might bring it down to the 399. So the bottom line is we're in the middle of a spring, and I wouldn't chance a darn thing, in my opinion. And I don't know why anybody could be bearish right now, because you can identify every single thing of Wyckoff right in here so clearly. There's some others that I'm not as clear about. Let's take Jasmy, for example. Now, Wyckoff may be here. There might be some variation of it. I don't see it as plainly. I don't know what's going on with Jasmy. I do think there is a case to be made that will come down and shoot up, okay? I don't know that. I think what's happening on the big scale is that we had Wyckoff accumulation all throughout here, okay? We came up, we tested the top, and we're now above that trading region, testing that, and we're coming up, we're just testing another top of the trading region. So that's also important to keep in mind is the bigger picture, because what I was showing on BCH was the 4-hourly scale, because I know there's a sentiment that this thing's going to be coming way down here, and A, B, C, D, and then an E leg coming way down here. Well, from what I understand with Elliott, and I know very little about Elliott wave theory, but the E wave can take on more of a sideways. Okay, well anyway, we're in Wyckoff, and then when we look at the big picture, let's go to the 3 days so I can fit more of the chart on here. And we had Wyckoff all throughout here. Okay, that was our spring right there back in June, late June last year. Came up, and then we jumped up above the trading region. And so, by the way, this is our creek. So you can identify the things. It's working its way through the trading region. We have secondary test in phase B. Came down just like we just did here on ours, only on a longer time scale. Came up, hopium, I'm sure, and then started working its way down in a creek. And then it dropped way down, matched this line here, that blue line, and which matches on the overall chart, by the way. And then it came up, and we had that monster pump. And what it was doing, it was finishing, it was the Wyckoff spring, and it was finishing going into the next phase. Jumped up here above the trading region, came back down, tested the top of this trading region. That's why it stopped there, okay? So there's people who are saying like, oh, there's a lot of liquidity down here. Well, yeah, but that's in the previous trading region. I don't know what you mean by liquidity when like it's been there for years. You know what I mean? It's been sitting here for years. So anyway, came up here, tested the top of the trading region, and then it's been showing signs of strength all throughout there. Okay, and then it finished that cycle, went into the next one, came up above, came down. We're essentially on top of this previous trading region, which was sitting right about there. Okay, and so now it's doing another accumulation phase and ending that accumulation phase right now with another spring. And that's my point when we look at the overall. Now, I mentioned, so like Jasmy, I'm not sure, ICP is the exact same as Jasmy. I think what these things are just doing is I think it's one phase behind on the overall chart. So remember we just said with BCH, we had the creek. So this is another creek right here, by the way. So this is kind of like on the 3 day is kind of what we're going through on the hourly, 4 hourly kind of time frame. Came up, boom, boom, you know what I mean? Came down. So there's your spring all throughout here below the trading region. Okay, or excuse me, the trading region would be like this. Yeah, it'd be somewhere around here. Be bounded like this. So we did dip down there just like we did in ours. Came up, opium, creek, coming down, working its way through there, doing a lot of work for a long time, and then we have your spring, okay? And then it came up, and now it's testing the top of that trading region, and it has yet to go in the next phase. Like BCH has already done. BCH is ahead, in other words, of ICP and Jasmy is how I see it. And they're probably both going to go here at the same time, but they're just a phase behind. Now, Filecoin is very obvious Wyckoff accumulation, similar to Bitcoin Cash. Look at that. Pretty perfect, right? You got your preliminary support, got your automatic rally coming down. You've got your, I think this is your secondary test in phase B. Okay. Still kind of came down right there, just like BCH. Okay, and you got your working your way up, coming down, and this it's tough to say, but this could end up coming down here a little bit. For a spring, it doesn't always have to have a spring. This could be your spring right here. Dropping down. Boy, I think that would have to go lower. Filecoin, it's tough to say. It's tough to say because, again, they all take different variations. Because this could always be your creek here, and this could be your spring, or this could be your spring. I'm not sure. I'd have to look at that a little bit closer. Oh, I'm at the 3 day. That's why. I think we have to look at a smaller time screen. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. That's what I was doing. I was confused on the 3 day because, yeah, sorry. All right, I just screwed everybody up, didn't I? I meant to say this is the area we're in right now, and this is the Wyckoff accumulation I can currently identify on Filecoin. I think it's pretty evident. Okay, there you go. Sorry about that. So, all right, so we got our preliminary support, we got our automatic rally, we got the selling climax, secondary test in B. You've got working your way through all this trading range. Okay, boom, coming down, and this is clearly like a spring test right there. Dropping well below the trading region. So. Yeah, so I'm loaded up right now on Filecoin and BCH just because I'm most confident with that. I think ICP and Jasmy are just in a different phase on the overall chart. I think it's just running one phase behind, BCH and Filecoin. So, well, I don't know if it's running a phase behind Filecoin, but BCH. Filecoin, though, is just clearly currently in Wyckoff accumulation. And again, I bet we're building bullish divergent right now. We got to be. Okay, we got. Yeah, this is lower. This drop here is lower than this drop here. And this is higher, and that's lower. Yeah, so clear bullish divergence being built right now, too, in the 4 hourly. I'm betting in the 6 hourly too as well. So that's a pretty good sign that these things are going to be getting ready to go up real soon. And what I mean real soon, look, the spring test, it's tough for them to stay down there. So who knows on the timing, but I would say within the next day or two maybe, or we'll start to see some progress getting back up there. I can't imagine it'd be much longer than that. I mean, again, we got all this bullish divergence we're building, and again, it could drop a little bit lower, right? I don't know those levels. Who knows? Who knows how far they're going to drop it? But it is in the spring. We're definitely in the Wyckoff. So make no mistake about it. Don't be bearish. Be bullish as all get out right now. And whatever you do not get afraid. Not financial advice, but I mean, I think the stupidest thing in the possible world you could possibly do is even think about touching your account right now. I mean, what planet do you live on where you want to write a check to BlackRock when they're doing a spring test? And we have it all laid out with research and documented scientific studies here looking at this stuff. Okay, you can go through a lot of. I mean, I haven't, but you can. There's a lot of people who have written books and who have done research on Wyckoff, and it's they've even gone into more detail on it. So I just wanted people to not freak out right now. I don't know why. Again, you would expect all the bearish news to be coming out in that stage of Wyckoff. That's what it's designed to do. I mean, when we go to Wyckoff, this is all people getting more and more bearish, and then it's just bottom starts dropping, and it's just freaking out time. I imagine that happened back in June last year, and man, I caught it when it was about 150. I started buying it just randomly. I just hey, what's this in crypto? And I was like, oh, Bitcoin's too expensive. And then I was looked into Bitcoin Cash. I'm like, oh, and I started using it. I was like, oh man, this is kind of fun to send to people. And so I bought Bitcoin Cash, and it was $150. And then I was like, oh, I want to buy some more. I like this stuff. And because it went up to so I went back on that same day, a couple hours later, and it was $185. I'm like, whoa, this thing's going up. I already made money on my first. I'm going to buy some more. And it kept going up 200, and then it topped out at 319. And, then it took a long time to get out of that range. So the fact that we're at worried about it going down to 400 right now is comical to me, to know where we were just a year ago, just trying, will we ever see 319 again when it dropped all the way down to 200 something? Oh man, that was hilarious. I think it dropped back down to I can't remember, but yeah, it had that substantial drop, and I remember oh man, maybe it's never going up. Well, here we are. So yeah.